Hi, I'm David Accomando, and I'd like to showcase the MXR Rockman X100. I'd like to do something a little bit differently though, compared to all the other videos that have already been posted. What I want to do is I want to compare the Rockman X100 with the Ultimatum distortion generator, which came out in the early 90s, and the acoustic guitar pedal, which came out around the same time. It's important to realize that SR&D made improvements before they sold their entire line to Dunlop Manufacturing. And of course, Dunlop Manufacturing also makes MXR pedals, among many other pedals. So anyway, I'd like to go over a few things before I get started. First of all, I'm not going to concentrate on the Rockman chorus, because I think the Rockman chorus has a tendency to color everything. What I really think people need to understand is the Rockman chorus, although it was great and it kind of defined a lot of what the 80s was about, what was really great about the Rockman equipment were the cleans and the distortions. So I tend to not use the Rockman chorus when I'm playing. However, if you're trying to show people what the capabilities are, you want to show them at least what the Rockman chorus is, and that's kind of where people get the term Boston in a box, because the Rockman chorus is, of course, a circuit that was designed by Tom Scholz way back in the 70s, in the early 70s actually, when he was experimenting with all that stuff. So again, I want to stray away from the Rockman chorus so I can just show you the differences in the cleans and the distortions, and then I'll add the Rockman chorus afterwards, but that's kind of self-explanatory in what the Rockman chorus can do to your sound. I do think it's kind of neat to be able to compare the Ultimatum and the X100, because that's really where improvements came, at least in my mind, where improvements came with the distortion and what they ultimately put out. So here we go. First of all, I elected to use a simple amplifier. Although you can use the Rockman equipment with full range equipment, I don't want to go there. I don't want to confuse that issue. So what I've decided to show you is, I just decided to show you these pedals being pushed through a 5-watt Fender Vibrachamp. I've had this amplifier since I was 13 years old. It's a beautiful little amplifier, beautiful tube amp, nice and clean. I'm using the second low input of the amplifier. You don't really need to use the high input because of the amount of gain that these pedals have. So I go into the low end. And then I have my treble at 3, my bass at 5, and my volume at 3.5. Again, this is a 5-watt Fender amplifier, so they've been used in studios all over the world since the beginning of time. Great little amplifier. I'm also using the Gibson Collector's Choice Les Paul. This is basically a carbon copy of the Les Paul that Tom Scholz has used on all the Boston records. It's loaded with a P90, nothing special about that, and a DiMarzio Super Distortion. And it's a fine guitar. It's got a neck like a baseball bat, but it's a beautiful guitar. It sounds great, and you really capture the classic Rockman sound. And again, one of the things I want to stress is how good these pedals sound without the Rockman chorus. One of the choruses that I do use, and I actually recommend to players, is the Bass Chorus Deluxe. The Bass Chorus Deluxe I like because it's not so drastic. It's got some pretty good fine adjustments on it, and I like to use that with my pedals and instead of the Rockman chorus. And again, I will show you the difference, but anyway, we'll go from there. I'm just going to take my face off the camera, and then we'll just go through these things, and you'll get a rough idea of what the capabilities of all these pedals are and the differences in how they sound. So first I'm going to just play with classic Gibson Les Paul sound, no EQ, there's no EQ on this board whatsoever. The only thing I'm going through to flavor the sound a little bit is a Fender marine layer reverb and a carbon copy. I love MXR pedals. By the way, I use a carbon copy, an MXR Phase 90, an MXR Bass Chorus Deluxe, MXR Dynacomp, of course the MXR Rockman X100, which was just released on January 23rd. And then I use the Rockman Ultimatum distortion generator, the acoustic guitar pedal, Crybaby 535 wah, and of course I've got my snark tuner right at the beginning. One classic pedal I do have that I bought sometime in the 80s, either I bought it or I got it from somebody, is my original DoD preamp 250 and my 6-band MXR equalizer. So I really put some thought into this board as well. It's been kind of fun. So here we go. This is nothing on the guitar except for going straight in, except for the carbon copy delay and the marine layer reverb. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the Ultimatum, and you'll see what the Ultimatum sounds like. Next, I'm going to go to the Rockman acoustic guitar pedal for my acoustic simulation. And back to the unprocessed Les Paul sound. Now I'm going to go to the Rockman X100 Clean 1 setting. This is the first mode on the pedal. Actually this is Clean 2. Clean 2 is always first, just like on the Rockman X100 headphone amp. So you can see the Clean 2 has a pretty flat EQ curve. It's supposed to give you that natural sound, and quite frankly, the acoustic guitar pedal was designed after the Clean 2 mode. This is where they wanted you to be able to plug your Les Paul in and approximate an acoustic guitar if you needed to, or at least a very, very clean sound. Second mode I'm going to go to is the Clean 1. This is the scooped clean sound of the Rockman, and what it gives you that thin sound, kind of a sound you're able to tuck right into the mix, kind of scooped with a little bit more, maybe 700 hertz, 500, 700 hertz in there as well, to give it a little bit more of a honk sound. on the X100. I've always favored compression, a lot of compression as far as my style of playing. So I have the gain set all the way up, and then I just have the volume of the X100 set up to kind of match the output of my Ultimatum and acoustic guitar pedals. So again, that's the clean one. Now I'm going to go to the edge setting of the X100. Dial it down a little bit. I'll bring up my volume. Next, I'm going to go to my distortion setting on the X100. One thing I want to point out is with all this gain, your pedals will be noisy, of course, whether you're using the X100 or the Ultimatum. I always use a Rockman Smart Gate after those pedals. The MXR Smart Gate, actually, I think I said Rockman Smart Gate. The MXR Smart Gate has got to be what I believe to be the best noise gate ever made. The Rockman Smart Gate came first, and then the MXR Smart Gate came after. Regardless, the MXR Smart Gate was an improvement over the Rockman Smart Gate. It's just a phenomenal gate as far as cutting out noise without cutting off the ends of your notes. So again, this is the X100 distortion setting. Back to the edge setting. And now, the Ultimatum distortion generator. can see the difference. There's a pretty drastic difference between the Ultimatum and the Rockman X100, but the Rockman tone is kind of retained in both pedals. It's just that the Ultimatum was designed in the early 90s with more of a saturation quality, to give you more of that power amp saturation quality that a lot of guys liked. They kind of wanted to beef up that distortion sound, kind of get away from that 80s hunk, as some guys would say, and that was the answer, was the Ultimatum. Anyway, so I'll go through this again. I'm also going to add chorus. I'm just going to let you kind of watch the video and see what I do. I won't explain everything. It's pretty self-explanatory. I think what I'll do is I'll do some things with the Rockman X100 chorus, just so you can hear that. Again, what's kind of nice is that this is all coming out of a early 70s Fender Vibrachamp. So if you can get all these pedals to sound good through such a little amplifier like this, with a good quality amplifier, you won't have any problems. I will say I do like the sound of the X100, but it has its place. Just like any other pedal you have, they have their place. It's not the answer to everything, and I wouldn't recommend that it be the answer to everything. As you can see from my pedal board, maybe you can see, I've got the Ultimatum distortion generator, but I also use the Overdrive preamp 250, the DOD. I've got the X100, you know, so I don't want to get stuck in the X100 box, or Boston in a box, if you want to look at it that way. So anyway, I'll just go ahead. That's the Ultimatum. It's the Rockman acoustic guitar pedal. Now this is the Ultimatum with the bass chorus deluxe. Acoustic guitar pedal with the bass chorus deluxe. That's the acoustic guitar pedal with the bass chorus deluxe. Now I'm going to show you, I'm going to turn off my bass chorus deluxe, and I'm going to show you the X100 with the Rockman chorus. We'll start off at clean 2. Nice natural sounding EQ, but still pretty bright. One thing I want to point out is Rockman equipment always sounds good. Actually, it always sounds better using a cord. If you're using a wireless, it tends to send high transients, which don't really resonate really good with Rockman equipment. So I always tend to use a cord. I do use a wireless, but only a wireless if it has that ability to roll off that high end, or at least simulate having a long guitar chord. So that's clean 2. Now I'm going to go to clean 1. Thinking it's April Fool's Day and you're not hearing a difference, it's because I forgot to turn the pedal on. So, always a little bit of comedy in my videos. So anyway, we're going to go back to clean 2 with the Rockman chorus. That's what happens when you turn 60 years old. Rich, clean sound. Again, that's clean 1. Now I'll go to clean 2. I like this clean because it kind of gives your sound, kind of gives your guitar the close approximation of maybe what a Telecaster would sound like, or a Strat, but definitely a Telecaster where you could get some of that snap out of it that you ordinarily wouldn't do with just a Les Paul. But again, I prefer it without the chorus myself. I can add my own chorus. Those are decisions I can make later on. I don't like to rely too much on the Rockman chorus, and I definitely don't want to have that stigma of you using the Rockman chorus for everything. So that's clean 1. Now this is Edge. Edge is exactly what it is. It's got a little bit more bite. It's distortion, but it's got a softer bite than the full-on distortion. Mode. Now this is full-on distortion. Again, it's Boston in a box. You can't get much closer than that. But you don't want every song to sound like Boston in a box. But you can take advantage of the great cleans and the great distortions, and you can color them any way you want, and you've got great compression. So the Rockman X100 is a very, very useful pedal, if for nothing else but the preamp. There's a lot of bands that have used the Rockman and then colored their tone, colored their sound however they wanted it. Nobody wanted to sound like Boston. I think one of the worst things that anybody can tell you is, wow, you're a great guitar player. You sound just like Tom Schultz. Well, isn't that wonderful? I mean, we're all trying to we're all trying to be our own. We're all trying to do our own thing. Let's put it that way. So, you know, yeah, it's great that we have a pedal that helps us sound like Tom Scholz, but what the hell, you know, that isn't what I want to hear ordinarily. So I'm just going to now do a few things so you can hear the difference. I'll just shout out what I'm doing, and then we'll end this video, and I'll let you decide for yourself. But I thought that this was fun to do. Ultimatum distortion generator. Acoustic guitar pedal. Ultimatum distortion generator with the bass chorus deluxe. Acoustic guitar pedal with the bass chorus deluxe. Rockman X100, clean 2 with chorus. As you can see, it's very, very mid-rangey. They take the low end out. The high end is slightly brittle, but you can EQ that if you want. I want to remind you again, I'm not using any EQs on my board right now. I only use my MXR EQ 6-band with my DOD overdrive preamp. But right now, this is the guitar going right into the pedal and right into the amplifier, besides my delay pedal. So it gives you an idea of what it sounds like without coloring it too much. Again, this is the MXR Rockman X100 Clean 2. Clean 1. X100 Edge. X100 distortion with chorus. Distortion without the Rockman chorus. Ultimatum distortion generator without chorus. X100 distortion. Designed to fit right in the mix where it's supposed to be. Ultimatum distortion generator gives you a more natural tone, not necessarily where it would be exactly in the mix, but it definitely gives you some saturation qualities that you won't achieve with the X100. So there you have it. I hope this helps. I hope it helps in comparison. There's uses for everything. There's a great use for the Rockman X100. It is a great pedal. I think they did a fantastic job on it because it is very, very close to the original X100. They did away with all the slider switches that presented a problem. They did away with the kind of hokey headphone amp, I should say the hokey headphone amp, headphone jacks, which were a problem. They did away with all that, and they really simplified things. They cleaned up the design. You are able to go stereo with the MXR Rockman X100. I am not going stereo, I'm going mono. I really don't need to go stereo with this pedal. I have other things I can do that with. And again, I use it primarily without the chorus, so there's not that need to go stereo, but you do have that ability. All you have to do is take off the back cover and switch it to stereo, and then use a TRS cord coming out of it. And from there, you know, you got to know how to use a stereo rig. But anyway, other than that, I hope this helps at least show the difference between the sound of the X100 and how it retains the classic Rockman sound, and then also what came later with the Ultimatum Distortion Generator. And I realize the Ultimatum Distortion Generator is a rare pedal, but if you do have a chance to get one, I would recommend having one. It definitely gives you that punch in the gut sound, that saturation quality that came later, especially if you listen to the Boston Walk On album. You'll hear a lot of the Ultimatum on that as well. So have a great day. Again, I hope this helps. This is my second Patreon video, so I'm kind of looking forward to posting it. Hope you're all having a great day, and I'm always here to help, and I hope some of this information helps you to put together a nice rig. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pick up my phone, and I'm just going to come on over here, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a close-up of my rig itself, so bear with me. All right, boy, was that professional or what? So you can see on my pedal board, I go into my Snark tuner, then out of that, I go into my MXR Phase 90, and then I go into my Crybaby, into the Ultimatum Distortion Generator, then the acoustic guitar pedal, and then from there, the MXR Dynacomp, EQ, and DOD overdrive preamp, and then into the Rockman X100, MXR SmartGate, and then my chorus, and my Fender reverb, and my carbon copy. Thanks to Sweetwater for providing such great equipment at a great price. And then if you go up here, there is my early 70s Fender Vibrachamp. You can see here that I'm going into the second low output of the amp. If you go into the high input of the amp, you tend to clip the amp. There's a subtle clipping that takes place, and my ears can hear it. Call me dog ears if you want, but I really don't like to hear any extraneous sounds coming from the amp itself, except a nice clean signal. And then of course I will zoom around here. You can see my Rockman XP212 stack and my Ultimatum rig there, which is comprised of the A1250 practice amp, which I turned into sort of a Frankenstein's monster stack. My Rockman Superhead 212 cab. This is another Frankenstein's monster. You can tell the secret here is the Batmobile on the upper right hand corner, but this is where I do some experimentation with combining the Rockman acoustic guitar pedal and the Rockman 2B. My favorite original Rockman headphone amp was the 2B, and then I take that into this programmable Boss equalizer. Come around here, and this is my Rockman bass rig with serial number 1 of the Rockman Pro Bass preamp. So that's always fun when I'm playing bass guitar. And then of course the stacks. And that is why I do not need to run stereo with my X100 pedal. I have a lot of stereo rigs, and I can play with them when I want to do that. So there is my Les Paul, the Gibson Collector's Choice Les Paul. And then back to my pedal board, zooming in to the Rockman X100 pedal, A great pedal to have some fun with. The early 90s Rockman pedals. And those, of course, were designed by Scholl's Research and Development, SR&D, as people would know. And then the X100 came from Dunlop Manufacturing. Fantastic job done by them.